Okay, guys, so here we are. I am so excited to start this five-part series because for those of you who've been with me for a while, you know that my favorite thing to do is a skincare class. Now, what I want to add is that it wasn't always my favorite thing to do. You usually don't like to do the things that you're not good at, and I was really not good at my presentation, my skincare class. In fact, I was already in DIQ when I sold my very first roll-up bag, which means I had been in Mary Kay 16 months before I sold my first roll-up bag. So to say I was a hot mess would just be an understatement. So the reason I had to work at getting good at the skincare class. And so that's why it's my heart, it's my passion now, so that I can give you my words. I can give you the method to my madness so that you understand when I say, please don't skip this step. I'm not being a micromanager. It's because I've skipped that step and I know what happens when you don't do it. So here we go. Here's something that I learned early on that kind of gave me relief. It says, if you don't like to do something in this business, and there are parts to this business that some of us just don't like to do. I could name my things. I hate cleaning up after a skincare class. The whole thought of walking into that dirty table kind of gives me an anxiety. So when I have a hostess and she packs everything up, I could just literally hug her neck. That is one thing I don't like doing is cleaning up. I don't even like cleaning my house. You guys know that. But a national sales director told me one time that you don't have to do it forever. You just have to do it now. And so anytime anytime I was pregnant, walking up a big flight of stairs with my bags, I would say to myself, I'm just paying my dues. I'm just paying my dues. And so when you're doing things that are hard, just tell yourself, I can do hard. I can do hard. It's just temporary. All right. Now, so this segment of peeling the onion is dissecting the very first part of your skincare class, which in our case is the opening where you tell a little bit about you and you tell a little bit about the company. Please don't skip this part, okay? Like I said, don't skip anything we tell you to do because there is a method to our madness. Whenever I open a class, the very first thing, you want them to connect with you. You want them to love you. You want them to love the product, and you want them to love the company. There are a lot of direct sales companies out there. And if you talk to people who have been with other direct sales, you will hear lots of horror stories. But one thing, and they try to sell these people on coming in because you don't have to go into anybody's home. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. And we've talked about this before on our Zoom calls. That's the one thing that makes us different. There's several things that makes us different, but the one thing that they're getting them in on is the one thing why we're successful, and that is connecting and building relationships. Your customers are going to stay with you because they know your children. They know all about you. They connect. You build that relationship. And Mary Kay was always famous for saying, never go into a class with dollar signs in your eyes. You go into that class pretending like that woman has a sign around her neck that says, make me feel important. And that was 54 years of us saying those words, and they never get old. That part about our business will never change. This business will always be and should always be built around the kitchen table. And you need to hold your head high that we still do that we still care about making that connection. And that's why our business is the mission field. Because if you're a Christian woman, and like we Fox yesterday, Stacy's on. Stacy and I were texting. We're like, I love that quote that Amy says in that marketing video. If you are a woman and you've been called to lead, for God's sakes, lead. I'm sorry, you can't lead from an online order. You can't lead by just going in and doing the drop-offs and the on-the-goes. Those are fillers, okay? Those are filler appointments. this business, the main part, your bread and butter, the connection, the foundation of what you will build from the ground up is going around the kitchen table and connecting. And so what I say when I open up a class is I thank that hostess, a very heartfelt thank you. And I say in front of all her family and friends, thank you for allowing me to come into your home and meet your family and friends. That is the biggest compliment a woman can give me, is to introduce me to her family and friends. And I cannot thank you enough. And I say that, I'm a high energy person, but I look that hostess in the eye and I say those very words to her because I truly mean it. So write those words down. The biggest compliment a woman can give me is to invite me into her home and introduce me to her family and friends. And that means the world to me. And you guys, you can, put your spin on it, but say those words. So when I open up, I always use my party chat book. I have found that this, even at a facial, that this helps me to start and start with about the company and letting people know Mary Kay's heart. Now, as you flip through, you'll find a lot of facts on this next page about the company. You do not have, for those of you who are C personalities, you do not have to read every fact that you see here. I don't read every fact. What I did was I went through and found them things that touched my heart. Okay. And so what I want you to do is get your party chat book out and highlight the things that you love, because what you're doing when you're connecting with these women, they can see your heart. I used to choke up every time I would talk about certain things, and I still do. And so when you talk about the things that touch your heart, women can see that, and that's how they're going to connect with you. So when you're opening up and you're talking about some facts about the company, circle the things that you love and impress and talk about those. I've already said that. I'm reading over my notes again. But then start talking about some things, about the stability of our company. There's so many direct sales companies that are not stable. They're closing, left and right. And so start talking about things that maybe are not in here yet. Like, our company is debt-free. You know that's in there. Our company's building a $125 million research and development factory or plant. And we've already started seeing some results coming out of there. The charcoal mask, the vitamin C squares. Talk about those things that make you proud. Like, in the cosmetic industry, we just put the man on the moon. This is the equivalent of putting the man on the moon with the vitamin C squares. Talk about that. Talk about that we have 25 researchers and scientists that have advanced degrees. We have more people that work for us, but 25 of them in our Texas plant have advanced degrees. They're the ones leading the way to get that next product that's going to blow everybody's mind. I'm so proud of that. Talk about that. Talk about that our products are so healthy, that we have food vendors coming in daily, dropping off, beans and botanicals and flowers and herbs and things that we are researching to find, the next greatest thing. That when you call poison control, if your customer's child accidentally ate one of our products and the mother is frantic, how she would say, you know what? They would say, tell us what product line. And if you say Mary Kay, they'll say, oh, it's okay. Mary Kay's almost all natural, and she'll digest it. That makes a mama's heart beat fast or feel good, because you know that you're sending a product home with your customer that is safe. If her dog eats it, if her child eats it, or if she has an undiagnosed heart condition, you know that you're sending a safe product home. That is, that's insurance for us. That is amazing information. All right. Say some things like that when you're talking about the company. Cut to the negative Nellies. They're going to show up at your party, because I'm just going to tell you, you're going to have those people that show up that say, oh, I'm allergic. And then they're going to cross their arms and you're going to go, oh God, why did she even come? So before that even happens, I talk about our product. Our product has when I'm doing my meat and potatoes, before I get started, I'll say one thing that you're going to know about the products that you're using using here today. It is the deepest cleanser on the market. And so many of you, because you have dirty pores, you haven't been on a really great quality regimen. Many of you will get breakouts. Okay, it's not an allergic reaction. That means that the product's working. It's going deep into your pores. It's bringing it all to the surface. And guess what? We're going to clear it up. We're going to clean it out, clear it up, close those pores so that they don't get bigger and bigger and bigger as you get older. Because without using a really great regimen, your pores are going to get wider and wider because of the dirt, grime, the dead skin. We're going to get more into that as we do the meat and potatoes part. But go ahead and cut to the chase and just shut those negative Nellies down before they can even open their mouth. Yes, you're probably going to get a breakout by using my product because my product actually works. And then you're going to already know if they say they get breakouts, you're going to know that you need to sell them an acne treatment gel when you sell them a skincare set, all right? You're going to let them know that a true allergic reaction
Stop hurting him!
Is a hive or a rash, and it happens instantly. It doesn't happen a week down the road or 2 weeks down the road.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm muting our noise out. It doesn't happen a week or 2 weeks down the road. It happens instantly. That is an allergic reaction. I'm allergic to shrimp, and that's when it happens, is instantly. So you want to go ahead and cut those negative Nellies off in the beginning so she doesn't ruin your party, because you don't want those negative statements getting into the minds of someone who is not familiar with skincare and how the skin works. All right. You also want to talk about the history of the fact that, from a business point of view, you're using a product from a company that's debt-free. This company is debt-free. We have the money to do all the tests. We're the only company in the whole world that tests all of our product lines together. We do over 500,000 tests every single year alone just on the ingredients before it ever goes into the product. Be proud of that we are always testing. And that's why when you open a Mary Kay book, you will always see our percentages, because we post them on there so that you can see that they work, because of our 100% buyback guarantee that we've had for 54 years. All right. So be proud of that. Be proud that when they buy from you, they're helping the local economy, they're buying American, and they're helping a local family, they're helping you. And this is where you start talking about you and your family. And you talk about our values too. Talk about our values. God first, family second, career third. There's the millennials, believe it or not, they have values and they like helping. They like making a difference. That's one of their traits when you study the millennials. They have values, believe it or not. No offense. But then let's talk about you, because you want them to connect with you. I know a lot of you skip this part, but if you follow the party book and you put your pages in the right order, you come up next after the company. And this is where you talk about your family, why you started Mary Kay. See, what you're doing is, Mary Kay said, at every skincare class, there's at least one next beauty consultant. You don't know who they are. And believe me, very few times have I ever pointed out who it was. All the other times, I got it wrong. And if I hadn't did my steps and they told me they were my next beauty consultant, I wouldn't have chosen them. So if I can't choose right 100% of the time, neither can you. And so we're going to, hang on for a second. So if you go into your I story, and I want you to write out your I story. You write out your I story. Your I story is your why story. Why are you doing this? What have you benefited from it? What have you grown from? What are the values? You get it. You write it all out. You create your I story. You can tell a little bit about your story, and then you can tell a little bit about my story. And then until you can tell my story, until your story takes over. When I was, up until I was a brand new sales director, so for a year and a half, I told my director's story until my story started trickling into the story. So here's the deal. Usually, if you've had a great week, let's say $500 a week. So you work 2 hours, you profited $250. A woman is going to hear 2 hours and $250. Y'all, that's her grocery bill for that week. And you work 2 hours. She's going to listen to you more than she's going to listen to my story. She's going to hear 16 years, commission checks a month, $5,000 to $9,000, $1 million in earnings, 8 free cars. She's going to shut down a lot of times, certain personalities. All right. So that's why in the beginning, you want to tell a little bit about your story, what you've done. You want to tell my story, because when you're at a party or a skincare class, whatever you call it, there are usually one of every personality type. The first two need to hear my story and your story. Okay. They need to see a bigger picture because they're not afraid of 9 years or 9 free cars, $1 million in earnings, 16 years. They're thinking, oh, she's got 5 kids. She can do that. I can do it. But certain personalities are going to hear that and shut down. So that's why you say, I just started last month. My highest week so far has been $500. I worked 2 hours. My profit was $250. Boom, she's connected with you. All right. So that's why you need to always tell your story. So you tell the company's facts, their heart, their value, what we bring to the table as far as a debt-free company. Tell a little bit about you. That is your, hold on, did I skip my pages? Oh, hold on. Okay, yeah. So that is your part. Those are the things that you do in the opening of the class before you ever go into the product. Now, I want to add this. If you are doing a party with charcoal mask, you've got 10 minutes. This is where I go ahead in the beginning, I switch it up a little bit. Okay, that's why you might have some notes whenever you're switching it up. For a long time, I use a checklist. And if I do a different kind of party, like I'm using charcoal mask, I use a checklist so I don't forget my steps because I'm not going in my order. Because you've got 10 minutes that everybody has to keep their mask on. And so what I do is I thank the hostess, get everybody started, clean their face. Boom, I go right into the charcoal mask. And while they're waiting, I say, okay, now I want to tell you a little bit about our awesome company and our founder and where we are today and where their company. And I want to tell you a little bit about me, because Mary Kay always wanted us, the consultants, to tell you a little bit about us so that you get to know us, because I want to be your customer. I want you to be my customer for life. I want to be your consultant for life. I want to help you. I want to provide you with your skincare through every stage of your life, through every season. So let me tell you a little bit about us. And then you got 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes to cover it. And that's what I say. So now when you're doing, and you can use the party chat book. For those of you who are brand new, you've got the awesome new starter kit that has the awesome flip chart. That's going to take you through those same steps, all right? We created this because for several years, we didn't have a flip chart. When I started, we had a flip chart, so that's how I learned. And so when I got my flip chart out, I was brand new. There were things on there that I didn't want to say, just like there are things in here you don't want to say. I went through, I had my own flip chart, and I took a Sharpie and X'd out everything I didn't want to say. I circled the things that I did want to say with highlighter, and I used my flip chart, okay? Now, by the time you do 7 to 10 parties, you could easily evolve from using those flip charts to using index cards. So I went from flip chart, I still used it because I had cute pictures and people could see it, but I was reading off my bullet points on my index card. So first 3-4 parties, I used the flip chart. From party 5 to party 7, I used my index cards. And from party 8, 9, and 10, I didn't need it. I was just doing it, and I've been doing it ever since. It's called muscle memory, okay? So you're evolving into the stages of your confidence and your knowledge and the muscle memory of your presentation. But guys, hear my heart. If you don't do 10 parties, boom, 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 you can't develop muscle memory. You do one party now, you do another party a month or 2 months later, you're going to have to keep retraining yourself. It is painful. It's painful, believe me. And so go book 10 appointments. I don't care if 5 are facials, 5 are parties. Just spew those words out of your mouth 10 times within the next few days, the next 15, 20 days, so that you can develop that muscle memory. So you can go from your flip chart or your party book. See, I use the party book, but I have my memory. Everybody else is flipping through and looking. But I've already memorized it. Good God, 16 years? Yes, I could do it in my sleep. So your first 4 parties, use your flip chart, your party book, highlight. That way you're reading off. Party 5 to party 7, you want to move to your index cards with your bullet points. And parties 8, 9, and 10, you're still using it, but you got it. You got it down. You're rolling. You're a well-oiled machine. You got it down. And as people add things in, like you hear things about, okay, let's say I just found out that we're building the $125 million, new plant, new research and development. I've added that in. We just launched the vitamin C squares. I let people know it's like putting the man on the moon. I put that in. So once you've got that foundation set, you can easily add information in these golden nuggets as you learn them. And you learn them by going to seminar, career conference, beach retreat, listening to Zoom, listening to your training CDs. You can download training CDs directly off of InTouch. There's the Media Center. Trinity and Marianne can probably give me the right name for it because it's changed so many times over the years. And we can help you find those. You can download those to your phone. You can order the CDs if you're a CD gal. I'm a CD gal, like popping it in, physically popping it in. I don't really know how my phone works. I just use it, but I know that you can download them to your phone. But use all the tools that Mary Kay gives you. Y'all, you don't even need me, honestly. I didn't have all this. My senior was in San Antonio. She only came out 2 times in my whole career, and you guys know she's passed away now. I did everything on my own. I was out in the field. I was doing parties for my team members when I was just a red jacket. I was helping others, and it helped me, okay? But luckily for you guys, you have us. You have this. And Mary Kay, the site and the technology now is off the chain. Off the chain. All right. So now as you're working through your skincare class with your party chat book, your flip chart, there's even the digital one. And I know that there's a specific name for that. You can download it on your tablets, iPod, what is it called? Not iPad. And you can do it more digital if you're more millennial and you are more, techno savvy and you want to impress the younger. I should have used that at my FIMU class, right? I would have really impressed them. You can do that, but just go do it. Don't just call here on Sunday nights and never go hold an appointment. You've got to practice on faces. You've got to spew those words out of your mouth. It's women can hear it, but you got to do it. All right. So even when you're doing a facial. So when you're doing a facial, this has helped me do my eye story so much more because they just know I'm going through the flip chart. I'm like, okay, while we're waiting for your charcoal mask to dry, I got to show you my family. I got to show you what I've done in Mary Kay because I love for my customers to know that when they buy product, they are helping me feed these babies. And I'm more laid back and it's more casual with a facial. So just don't be so uptight and rigid. When you're one-on-one, a facial is one-on-one. A double facial is you and 2. I sit down with them. I don't stand up. I sit down and we have coffee. I usually bring coffee to my facial for my face. I said, tell me what kind of coffee you like. I always go by Dunkin' Donuts. I'm going to bring you a cup. You like cream and sugar, extra cream and sugar. You like a shot of caramel. What do you want? That has built such amazing friendships for me. We're 2 gals having coffee, playing makeup. And, it works. My strength zone, just so you guys know, is one-on-one. It is one-on-one. It's always been one-on-one. I'm not good in a crowd. Some of you who really, really know me, you've seen me get kind of nervous when I'm speaking, and they always get me to teach at January Jumpstart. That makes me so nervous. One-on-one is my strength zone. But unfortunately, I want to be a national sales director, and one day I'm going to have to speak in front of 10,000 people. So what do? I say, okay, every time somebody asks me to teach in front of a big crowd, okay, I am paying my dues. There's that word again, paying my dues. I stay in my strength zone, but I'm working on in my weak zone to strengthen it there. What you're good at, what you're bad at, if you work hard enough at it, you'll be great at it. So I can promise you, the day that I stand on that stage giving my speech in front of you guys, with you guys on stage beside me and my family as a national sales director in front of 10,000 women and all of corporate, I will be ready. Why? Because I was in the field doing it and practicing my weaknesses. All right. So that is how I open a class. All right. So I will, you guys have heard my box. As we go through the different stages, I plan to do a live Zoom class. Thanks to Stacy White. She has so many interviews that I'm doing all across the country. I think we did Kansas, Fort Worth, I can't remember where else. So we're going to do a live Zoom class, skincare class on here when we're finished with our 5 parts to peeling our onion, and you're going to get to see it play out live. How exciting. We're sending everybody facial bags. So if you want your guest to be part of it, get the facial bag card printed out. Get your samples ready. It's the Ultimate Miracle Set is what we're using. And we're going to do the biggest skincare class on Zoom ever. I'm so excited. I'll tell you what day later. All right. All right. So Trinity, do you want to add some things? Because you, my friend, are a beast at a skincare class.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Yes, I definitely will. I'm complete opposite. Sorry, my dog is going crazy right now. I'm so excited. So I'm complete opposite, whereas I love parties. I don't like the one-on-one. I freak out one-on-one and I don't know what to do. So I prefer the parties if I get the choice. So that just makes it more fun for me because I am a teacher and I have that kindergarten class. I'm used to standing up in front of people and talking to them and training them and working with them and teaching them. And that's what I get to do in that environment. So just some things that I thought of while you were talking, Michelle, is you mentioned, and I'm so glad you did, that negative person that at the very beginning of the class will probably sit with their arms folded and say, I'm allergic, or I don't like Mary Kay, or it's for my grandma. And so a lot of times, and with my teaching experience that I have, I've learned that people like that, and even 5-year-olds, you guys, they're the exact same way. Adults are just like 5-year-olds. They want attention. And so when my kids are acting bad in my class, most of the time they want attention. And so if they're sitting at that skincare class with you and everyone else is great and excited, and there's this one person who is folding their arms, and I'm not going to put that on my face, or I'm not taking my makeup off. Most of the time, that person just wants you to make them feel special. And so what I'll normally do is I'll say, oh my gosh, that's totally fine. Let me borrow your hand. We'll just put it on your hand and see what you think about it. And I was telling Erica and Rachel about this morning. A lot of times those people, if you just make them feel special and don't let them get in your head, they're going to be your best customers. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the skincare class, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I need everything. It feels amazing. So just continue to make them feel special. Continue to allow them to be in charge of the situation. Okay, that's fine. You don't want to put it on your face. Let's put it on the back of your hand. That'll be perfect. That way you can still try these awesome products. Most of the time, people like that, by the end of the class, are like, oh, well, I want to try that now. Mm-hmm. So you'll find that happens. Another thing about the eye story, please listen to Michelle. I didn't when I first started, and I was too nervous to talk about my eye story. I didn't really think that I had an eye story. I never really knew about makeup. I didn't really understand why I should tell people about the business. I knew I wanted team members, but I didn't really know why. And so I learned very quickly. It took me probably about 6 months, honestly, to actually get my eye story together. And the only reason I even came up with my really good one, I mean, you guys, I would literally sit at a class and I would say, okay, well, Mary Kay's awesome, and it's been around for like 50 years, And yeah, you should be a consultant. Okay, thanks. Next product. And then I would just keep going. It was so crazy to me. But Michelle, you were actually sick one day, or I think Mary Beth was sick. And so Michelle was going to come up and do a class for us, a Wednesday night meeting that we had. And Michelle was on her way up. And then one of her little girls got sick. And so I had to do the class. And so I sat in the mall parking lot. I'll never forget this. And I came up with my story and why I was working this business and what it had done for me and how it impacted my life. And I used Michelle's story to kind of transform into mine and tell why I was working this business. And you guys, it was the best experience ever. It really made me do a lot of soul searching and personal growth for myself as to why I was doing this. It wasn't just I was selling lipstick. I really was trying to change people's lives. So it was a really cool thing for me to kind of realize and be able to tell other people. And so now I have my story and I know why I'm doing this business, and I'm able to really impact other people's lives because of that. So definitely keep that in mind and trust the process, if that makes sense, and definitely come up with your story or your why story and why you work in the business. What is it for? What are you working towards? And what's your big goal? Because people like to be a part of your goal. Even if you tell them, hey, I'm trying to earn this really cool Roomba that's a prize for my Mary Kay business. So thank you so much for supporting me, because you're going to be the reason that I earn this awesome Roomba. This Star Quarter, it's the Apple Watch. I don't know if you guys saw that there's an Apple Watch for the Star Quarter, but that's my prize and that's what I'm working for. So, and it's pink. So I'm going to be excited at my parties and tell all my people, hey, guess what? If you buy products from me, you're helping me get this awesome prize. And people love to jump on board with that kind of thing. They love to help support you in your goals. So that's just a really, a couple of things that I thought of. Mary, is there anything you want to add?
Hold on. Yeah, you guys see the baby cameo right there? Sorry. So anyway, I got 3 things. So for me, my strength zone at first was parties, and that's just my high I personality. So of course, facials were very awkward for me. There's that awkward silence. But through my training and through having to do them, I'm like the middle of the ground. I'm like good at both, like jack of all trades, master at none. So in my skincare class, I get to let my high I personality just fly, and we have a great time. And then when I get to do my facials, I love that because then I get to practice my skills of learning more about the different personalities and how I get to practice talking differently to different personalities. And so I'm like sharpening my skills at these facials, which is really cool, but it also meets my need for relationship building, which is part of my high I personality. I'm a people person. So that's kind of me. To Trinity, you were talking about when your story really developed. And I remembered that, basically obstacles are your opportunity for growth. So like anytime that things get crazy, just think of it as a sharpening moment. Like it's a moment where you get to find this new strength that you never knew you had. And I think that's one of the things that Mary Kay's taught me. And then Michelle talking about doing the 10 appointments in 3 weeks versus like 3 years, calling in all the time. Our pastor has this quote. It says, talk about people coming to church all the time, never doing anything, or like being religious and all, like having all this head knowledge, not really doing anything. He says some people are more educated beyond their level of obedience. And I was like, oh, ouch. So I love that. Just take what you do know and run with it and everything. But those are the main things I just wanted to pipe in right there.
Thank you, guys. I want to add, when first of all, if you guys were on last week, Mary Ann was doing the call in labor.
And I didn't know.
You didn't know.
I mean, I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Oh my gosh, you're so awesome. And I remember when that day that Trinity had to do her story, guys, it was such a powerful moment for her when she called me and said, I just wrote it out, and she was crying. It was so emotional. It was so heartfelt. And I'm like, the fact that she was crying, I knew that was her story, because you know, she was going to give it from the heart. And I knew that from here on out, it was going to be powerful. And so when you're writing out, I want you to write out your I story. And what I want to challenge you for this week is call my voicemail. Okay. So here's my business line. And usually during the day, I'm running around with appointments. Call my voicemail, or you can even text me and say, Michelle, if you're home, don't answer your business line. Okay. Here's my business line, 770-304-5603. I want you to give me your I story, okay? After you write it out, and I hope that it makes you choke up. Because if you guys have ever done appointments with me, you've seen me choke up with my I story, and I've told it a million times. And if you can still say it and it still makes you choke up, then it's the one that's going to stick with you. It's the one that God gave you. And so this week, I want you to write out your I story, okay? And I'm so excited to hear them. I love that. I love challenges where y'all have to call me and leave me a message. All right, so we have a prize to give away. Marianne, have you already gone? Oh, you're there.
No.
Did you write?
I was about to.
Write the numbers. How many names do we have?
You'd think I'd be prepared by now. I do.
18. Or not counting us.
16 consultants.
16. Hudson, rise up. Rise up. I know the Falcons are on. You guys don't tell me the score. Rise up. Hudson, give a number 1 through 16. Can you guys see Hudson? 15 is the number tonight. Who's number 15?
Anita.
Anita.
Yay!
All right, so Anita, text me and let me know if you want a jewelry prize or a mirror for your skincare classes. All right? Okay, everybody.
Hey, thanks.
What?
I said thanks.
Hey. All right, I'm going to watch the Falcons, and I will talk to y'all this week. Have a great week, and go get some skincare classes. 10. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Night.
Good night.